Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh and you're watching our history. Today we're going over the Khoi and the San tribes. So if you enjoy this, please be sure to like, and if you're new here, please consider smashing that subscribe button. If it's not your first rodeo and you haven't shown some love to the subscribe button, now is your opportunity. Thank you very much. The Khoi and the San. The political, social and economic organization of the Khoi and the San. Southern Africa has a rich history of diverse communities that inhabited the region. Among the earliest is the Khoi, who were commonly referred to as Hottentots by the European settlers who arrived in the area. Another community that emerged around the same time were the San, who were known as the Bushmen by the same group of early settlers. These names were considered derogatory and are no longer used to refer to these communities today. However, despite the challenging history, the Khoi and the San communities have continued to thrive and preserve their unique cultures, traditions, and way of life in Southern Africa. The Khoi. The Khoi people settled in Southern Africa after the San and were mainly pastoralists, though they are engaged in hunting and gathering. Unlike the San, the Khoi lived in large groups known as camps or settlements, with populations ranging from 500 to 700 people depending on the factors such as availability of water and grazing land, as well as unity among community members. Land was communally owned and resources such as waterholes and mineral rights were shared. When the nation grew too large, the land was subdivided amongst clan members, which then operated independently. Despite their communal lifestyle, the Khoi never formed a powerful empire due to their nomadic way of life. The Khoi tribe, like many other indigenous tribes, had their own political and social structures. One of the most important bodies of the Khoi tribe was the Council of Elders. The council was made up of a clan leader who assisted the chief in making important decisions and settling disputes. Discussions and debates were held in the open forums, and if a group within a community felt that it could not cope with the rest, it had the freedom to break away and form a new clan with a new name. As a result of this free-form structure, splits were common, and the Khoi spread to occupy a larger area than the San. One of the main functions of the chiefs was to settle disputes involving different clans, thus ensuring a peaceful coexistence between the different groups. The San. The San people are considered to be the oldest community to have settled in Southern Africa, predating even the Khoi. Their way of life was largely centered around hunting and gathering, as they lived a nomadic existence across a large and scattered region. Typically, San communities would consist of small units of approximately 25 to 70 people, with men working together to hunt wild animals and birds using poisoned arrows. This provided a crucial source of food for the community, although women would also gather roots and other items to supplement their diet. Despite their relatively small numbers, the San have played an important role in shaping the cultural and historical landscape of Southern Africa. The government of the San. The San people, also known as Bushmen, had a unique system of governance. They did not have chiefs or kings, and decisions were made by common agreement or consensus among the community members. Leadership was not clearly defined, but there was equality and mutual respect in the running of the affairs of the community. Each government consisted of a headman and a council of elders who held regular meetings that were open to all adult males in the village. This democratic approach allowed every adult male to participate in the affairs of the whole community. The San people's democratic model is a testament to their belief in equality and shared decision-making. Similarities between the two communities. Two groups of people lived in close proximity to one another. They shared several similarities in terms of their physical appearance, language, and way of life. Firstly, they both have yellowish brown in color. Additionally, they tended to be short and stout, with similar physical features. Secondly, they were both nomadic, meaning that they traveled from place to place in search of resources and shelter. Lastly, they shared similarities in their languages, as both incorporated click sounds. These similarities likely helped to foster a sense of community and mutual understanding between the two groups. Despite their differences, they were able to coexist and share a unique cultural heritage. Differences between the two communities. The Khoi and the San were two distinct groups that inhabited Southern Africa for thousands of years. The Khoi were primarily cattle keepers, relying heavily on their livestock for food and trade. Meanwhile, the San tribe were hunters and gatherers who relied on the environment for their sustenance. These differences in their livelihoods eventually led to the development of distinct political organizations. The Khoi were led by chiefs who wielded authority over their respective groups. In contrast, the San tribe did not have a defined leader, and decision-making process was based on consensus. Despite their differences, the Khoi and the San tribe coexisted and traded with each other for centuries. The role of traditional forms of government in society. In ancient societies, the role of leaders was crucial in the community's well-being. They brought together different groups of people under one leader and ensured the freedom of the community. Additionally, they provided individuals with a sense of belonging, settling disputes among members, officiating ceremonies, and giving guidance on various matters. The laws, customs, and taboos enforced by leaders were instrumental in bringing order to the society, preserving cultural practices, and training future leaders. The leaders understood the community's values, norms, and perspectives and worked towards preserving them and promoting them. As such, the leaders played an essential role in development and maintenance of a robust, harmonious community.
For you to say the first Chinese may have been black, you just erased your own people and history and gave the Wabos the history. You have no honor. So first of all, I just had to Google Wabo, and it means wannabe Aboriginals. Make of that what you will. So this guy's upset because I talked about the research findings of Professor Jin Li of Shanghai's Fudan University, indicating that there is ancient black ancestry among the Chinese people. This professor talks about ancient migration patterns between Africa and Asia dating back some 60,000 years. And you can even see the likeness today when you compare the features of Chinese people and the Khoi San people of South Africa. I think it's sad that you feel I have no honor and that I've erased the history of my people in talking about this. The way I see it, we're mostly all taught one version of history, but that learning should never stop and we should always be open to new information. And when we explore new information, I don't think it erases anything, it just adds to the richness of our history. And surely, if we learn that we might be more closely connected than we realized, that must be a good thing, not a bad thing, right?
Hi, welcome to my channel Exotical Spice. Are Khoi Sans and Bantus the same? In this paper, we use the term Khoi San as a loose cover term to refer to the indigenous languages of southern Africa that do not belong, to the Bantu family and that are mostly silently characterized by their heavy click sound. There was like a person coming on my channel saying that Khoi San and Khoi are but Africans same as the African Bantu tribe. But here they say they don't have the same languages and they have the very heavy click sound. So Bantu people don't have a heavy click sound like Khoi San people. Like many people from America wants to come on other people's channels and one drop rule mix people and biracial people as black and Creole people and everybody put in one box and say that we are black, which we are not. I just want to tell that person, do your fucking research first before you come to other people's channels and speak crap that you don't know about if you're not South African. Don't speak on stuff that you don't know unless you have stayed in South Africa or have South African Khoi San DNA, since you do not have. Now we're going to talk about Bantu people. Where did Bantu originally come from? Now we're going to tell the truth so that scientists on my channel want to know everything, knows everything. During a wave of expansion that began 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, Bantu speaking population today, some 310 million people gradually left their original homeland of West Central Africa and traveled to eastern and southern regions of the continent. You see now? Like Bantu people immigrated to the Khoi San territory, like the whites. What? race were Khoi San. Hello. The Khoi San is the name for two people of southern Africa, the San and the Khoi. The San are foraging bushmen, and the Khoi are the pastoral, pastoral people previously known as Hottentots. The relationship between the two groups is not very clear. The San are generally smaller than the other humans in the area. That's all I want to say. I will make a part 2 and my clips that you will see, I will show it in front of the clips that I show will explain you everything you need to know about Khoi San people. Nowhere near in that clip said that Khoi San are Bantu people, which that stupid person came on my channel and speak their nonsense. Nowhere near it says they are black. There are two different, genetically different tribes with different skin tone and different facial structure features. That you will clearly see the difference between African Bantu tribe and the Khoi San tribe. They are from Africa, they are Africans, but it's genetically different. Some are hunting gatherers, some are cattlemen. The African have a different culture and the Khoi San have a different culture. And they have a different name, which means they are totally different. Stop coming on people's channels and try to be a fucking, I don't know what it is, historian or whatever it is. Stop being clever. This is not America where you one drop racist and stuff. There are people that have cultures. You black Americans do not have a fucking culture. Don't come put your lost mindset here, and that is confused lost mindset here because you don't have a culture. Don't let me pull up the receipts because this stuff is Googled that I click now that I've reached is Googled facts. Stop going on TikTok where you get misinformation crap. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.